G'day YouTubers. The plan was to get out fishing on Friday, do a video on that on Saturday and have it up on the web by Sunday. However, Thursday night I woke up several times, and every time I woke up it was pouring rain, absolutely pouring. I don't mind going out and fishing if it's just a few showers, a little bit of rain, but I've always found that when it's absolutely pouring, the bite is very poor as well. So I decided to pull the plug on that, and that is why I'm doing this video instead of a fishing video. I hope you find it useful. When you own a boat, there's always lots of things that need doing on it. You need to keep it looking good, you need to keep it in good nick so it doesn't lose too much value, you need to keep it running right so you don't get stuck on the water. Always something to do. It's like owning a house, there's always something to do around the house as well. Those are just a few of the things that I do on the boat, just a very few of them. There's a lot more to it, and I'll probably do some more videos in the future. A little quick care and maintenance on your Mincator. Get some Armour Oil or any silicone and water based lubricant and spray it on a rag and just wipe it over the shaft every time you go out, or when you come back at least rather. Just get the salt off of it and give it a nice little polish up. Your Mincator will thank you in the long term. That's it. That's all it is. Just takes a couple of seconds to do and will make your Mincator last longer. Armour Oil's cheap and lasts a long time. You're not using very much of it. And the bit that slops down will polish your boat up a bit too. This is another thing that needs periodic maintenance. Is go along your anchor guard and about every hand span, finger span. Make sure you've either got a zip tie in it or put another one in, because they do break over time, getting dragged up over the bow roller. And when you do, nice and good ones. There's no good buying the cheap ones from the dollar shop because they're too thin, they don't last well, and you end up doing the job more often than needs to be done. There's no need to have different colours in here, it's just that I don't have enough of any one colour to do it, so I thought alternating the colours might have been better than just putting rows of each colour in. I think I'm going to run out before I finish anyway. I'm going to have to go and buy some more, which is a bit of a pain because this was a lockdown job. I wonder if they consider zip ties as essential shopping. When I go up to get food, the hardware's next door, so it'll be essential enough to duck in there. Of course, you're going to cut all these tags off when you're finished. Quite a lot of them have broken off. I didn't notice it until the chain guard started to move away from the rope. So anyway, that's all I can do for now. Well, there we go. That's what you got to do. You got to put the zip ties in, replace the ones that are broken. I've been pretty slack. A lot of these have broken. There's still some black ones there. The ones that are cut off, you can't see them. There's one in here somewhere, I think. No, must be here somewhere. Oh, there it is. So there's a few still left, but I'll stick in all new ones a bit closer together this time. They might last a bit longer. That's only been a bit over a year, I think, and quite a lot of them have broken off. And it doesn't matter how good the 316 stainless steel is, it will still rust, and it will put rust stains on your fiberglass. I could probably alleviate this a little bit if I got in underneath and unscrewed it and put some Thickaplex under it, but in the meantime I'm just going to clean off this rust stain. I'm going to use some brown vinegar for that, just that, Woolies brown vinegar. So I'll put some of that on it and I'll bring the camera back after I've done it, because I can't manage to do it and hold the camera. Let's use a paper towel to put that brown vinegar on there, and I'll leave that sit overnight. Come back in the morning and have a look and see if we need to give it another dose, because that is pretty stained up the top there, so it's going to take a little bit of shifting. Every trip I go over all the clears, put a bit of Rain-X on them, wipe it around so it's all over it and let it dry. And then once it's dry with a microfiber cloth, go along and give it another rub off, and that leaves the film of whatever it is that's in the Rain-X that stops the water beading on it and makes it a lot clearer to see through. I haven't got a before and after shot, but you can see that that's nice and clear now. Whereas before I started it, it was all spotted with salt water. So do that after every trip. Now I use this Hydrocylex Polish. It's pretty easy to apply and it certainly makes it easier to clean. Like if you drop some bait or particularly squid ink on it, you can just wipe it off, no problem. So I'll just give the Fiberglass Polish Up with this stuff. It's pretty easy to use. Turn him on before we start. Just give it a bit of a spray again. Spread it out with a rag. And just let that dry for a bit. And once that's dried on, again, I just use a microfiber cloth and go along and give it a nice rub. And again, that leaves some sort of coating on the fiberglass, protects it from the UV, and also what I found is great protection from squid ink staining it, because if you get a squirt with the squid ink, you can just wash it off quite easily. The other thing is I go around with this penetrol. I was using lanolin, but this is easier. It's suggested to me by one of my subscribers and it's much easier to use. I just give a bit of a spray every now and then down all the interiors, because as much as you try to wash these things out, you can't get the interiors, and so as you spray there, it'll get a big bit in some areas, but the mist will help it go and settle in the areas, and with any luck, if you spray it pretty regularly, you should get a coverage enough on all the interior bits where you won't see any of the corrosion start. But you get enough coverage on it, hopefully, to stop any major corrosion, or at least slow it down a lot. Every trip I check the bearing buddies, and usually every couple of trips I've got to put a little bit of grease in them. So you'll see the inside piece where it's spring loaded will move just a little bit as you pump the grease in. There's an overflow hole which is probably underneath at the moment. It tells you when you got too much in, but that's probably enough. That'll be enough, because you don't want it overflowing, otherwise you get little bits of stain there and you've got to go get a paper towel and wipe them all off. Gets a bit tedious after a while. And while you've got the grease gun out in your hand, I always give these just a few pumps. Whoa, that one's taken a fair bit. And when you see it start to ooze out there, that's enough. And normally you put a good dollop on top of your wall on the car too, so that it's good to keep the wall greased. And that's about it. You put a little bit on these if you use them. I don't use them, they only rotate maybe one turn just to loosen off the strap, because I've got the catch and release, so I don't use the winch at all. I know not everyone's got these. This is our Redland Boat Club flag. They give it to you with your membership, and the grommets in it have deteriorated to the point where you can't use them. So I picked this up at the hardware with the idea of putting new grommets in it. I don't know that these will be any better than what we had there. So here we go. Oh, yeah, that'll hold. I don't know whether it's going to be any better than what we had there, because what we had there rusted away. As you can see, the big rust stain there. What I will do is next time at the chandlery, I'll have a look around and see if they've got any stainless steel ones, so that we don't have to redo this again in a short while. But in the meantime, this will do. it'll stop the material from getting torn and we'll be able to fly our flag again. So that'll do for now. It wasn't real dear, it was about $10 or $12 for with all the buttons, and if I can find some stainless steel grommets I can still use that to put them in, so it's not a total waste of money. Every couple of months I'll give the clears a go with the clear plastic polish before I put the Rain-X on it. I'm not sure if I need to, but the clear plastic polish is supposed to be a UV blocker to protect it from sun damage and make it last longer and stay clearer, not yellow. So I put that on, as I say, every couple of months, and then I put the Rain-X on over it. Next day, actually, let it dry on. I don't want to wipe this stuff off. So next day I come down and I put the Rain-X on the clears. For the bimini and the storm covers, I use this occasionally. Probably every 4 to 6 months I'll give them a go with this. Just remove the dirt, grease, etc. It gets a bit of a salt build up on it, but I give the bimini and the storm covers a good wash down with fresh water after I've been out every single time. For the rough areas on the deck, which are the non-slip areas, I use some of this deck cleaner. It lifts the dirt off real well. You put it on, give it a scrub with a scrubbing brush, and then just give it a hose off to get the bulk of it off. It leaves a nice protective coating on it and keeps it clean for quite some time. All you got to do is just rinse it off with some water. Do this as needed, probably 4 to 6 months again. Well, that's all I've got for this video. There's a lot of other things that go into maintaining a boat, looking after it, making sure everything's operating properly. As I do them, I'll take some video of it and collect them together, and when I've got enough, I'll put another video up on the subject. There's nothing sadder than seeing a boat that's been neglected, particularly one that looks as though it hasn't even been cleaned. It just makes me think that the owner doesn't care, and probably doesn't care enough to maintain his motor or anything else about the boat, and eventually he's going to run into trouble and need help. Very sad. Anyway, there it is. Until next time, good fishing.